Marvel's Eternals movie will be out next year, November of 2020. This was revealed at 2019's San Diego Comic-Con, along with most of the cast, making these rumors we've been talking about for a while officially official. But who are they, and who are the Celestials we keep hearing about? Before we jump into it, let me thank you for watching JL's Comics, whether it's your first time here or you're coming back. If it is your first time, don't forget to subscribe. We do upload comic book, superhero, film, anime content every week. So shortly after the Hall H announcement, we got some concept art for the Celestial, these massive ancient cosmic beings for the mighty Marvel mythos. But we've been talking about the potential for them to appear ever since we first saw Thanos at the end of 2012's The Avengers movie. Why? We'll get to that in a moment. In 2014, the Guardians of the Galaxy traveled to a location known as Nowhere, which was explained as a spaceport residing in the severed head of a Celestial. We caught a glimpse of them when the Collector showed the Guardians a Celestial named Esau the Searcher. While talking with the Guardians about the Infinity Stones, he explained to them that these carriers can use the stones to mow down entire civilizations like wheat in a field. In Guardians 2, we also learned that Ego, Star-Lord's dad, is a Celestial. He, like other Celestials, are able to manipulate molecular matter, and so he formed this planet around himself in the fledgling days of the cosmos in his quest to search out other life forms. But in comic books, Ego is actually an elder of the universe, just like the Collector and the Grandmaster, but he's a Celestial in the MCU. The Celestials were created by Jack Kirby in the mid-1970s, where they debuted in the second issue of a comic book called The Eternals. Funny enough, Jack Kirby also created the New Gods title for DC Comics, something that's currently in development for DC Entertainment, with Ava DuVernay and Tom King writing the script, but that's for another video. The Celestials were able to travel the universe looking for planets which met their criteria for manipulation and seeding. Millions of years ago, they found Earth. They augmented the DNA of proto-humans, which segmented the species into three separate areas: the Eternals, the Deviants, and latent Homo sapiens. The latent were quote-unquote normal humans, but with the potential of an X gene developing as their species evolved over millennia, and they did, to mutants. But right now, there are 33 Celestials left. Why? To answer that, we have to back up, not just to the birth of time and of our universe, we have to go beyond that. We live in a universe born of the Big Bang, a singularity that exploded outwards with unfathomable force and gave birth to the universe. The air we breathe, the molecules, the atoms we're made up of, the quarks and the elements, these subatomic particles, everything. But this is a cycle, a process that continually bursts outwards, then collapses back in on itself in a big crunch back to a singularity before creating yet another Big Bang. When this happened for our world, it also created one singular lonely being called the first firmament. It was really bored after billions of years, and so it created these two servants, two kinds. Some were multicolored and some were black. The black beings were really faithful and served the first firmament well for billions of years, and they were called aspirants. The multicolored ones were rebellious and wanted power for themselves and create that power structure where they were at the top. These came to be known as the Celestials. Because of these opposing views from the servants, war erupted. The aspirants created this 25,000 foot tall god killer that's almost 5 miles tall. To conceptualize that, imagine being on an airplane. You have the window seat, you're looking out the window, and you look down and you see the Earth. Cruising altitude for a commercial airliner is somewhere between 25 and 35,000 feet. So when you're looking down from that plane to the Earth, that's how tall this god killer was. The god killer slaughtered nearly all of the Celestials, billions of them across the cosmos, which left us with the remaining 30 or so. The first firmament was actually ripped apart and a fraction of it segmented off into this other being called Eternity, which created this new multiverse. It exploded out and created this whole new multiverse that we were just talking about. The remaining Celestials lived inside Eternity and began seeding all of these new planets that were formed within. They did this to the Shi'ar home planet, to the Skrull home planet, to the humans home planet of Earth, where we live. If you're thinking this might sound familiar, well, it is. Kirby said some of his inspiration came from Eric Von Daniken's book Chariots of the Gods, which is actually one of the focuses of the History Channel's Ancient Aliens show, because aliens. Anyway, this is when the Eternals and the Deviants were created, both powerful branches of the same genetic tree. They were always in contention with one another. The Eternals were human looking and yet lived nearly eternally. The Deviants were just like them except malignant and deformed. Some Eternals lived on the moon of Titan. Two of these were Alars and Suisan, and they had a son named Starfox and another son named Thanos, except Thanos carried the deviant gene, hence his purplish, grimace-looking appearance. Alars is the son of Kronos, one of the very first Eternals created by the Celestials. And actually, when Kronos died, the Eternals used this unifying mind called the Unimind to elect their new leader, who was Zurus. This is when Alars left Earth and went on to Titan. And it was actually later that Zurus summoned all of the Eternals on Earth to do a Unimind and communicate with the Celestials. And there was this villain named Maelstrom who was trying to siphon off the energy of the entire population while they were in their Unimind ritual. So that might be a potential plot point for the Eternals movie, because we have all of the heroes, but you've yet to hear about a villain. And it's got to be a villain in there somewhere, right? It could be Thanos, who I just mentioned, that baby Thanos, the son of Alars, or it could be Maelstrom. Kevin Feige was talking about the Eternals at San Diego Comic-Con. He's the Marvel Studios president, I'm sure you know that, but he said they're a group of immortals who have been living on Earth for 35,000 years. They've been here amongst the MCU. All this time they've been here. So right now there is rumor that this is the story that's going to be told, and we'll see Kronos and Alars and a young Thanos, his brother Star Fox, but this is very far from confirmed, and that doesn't mean that he will be the villain necessarily of the story. Maybe Maelstrom, like I just said. Richard Madden of Game of Thrones fame is playing the leader of the Eternals named Icarus. Salma Hayek is playing Ajak, normally a male character. He's gender swapped for the MCU and for Salma. I'm so excited to join the Marvel family as Ajak, the mother of all Eternals. It used to be the father of all Eternals, Hayek said. I thought for a while Angelina Jolie was going to be playing Cersei. We don't know who that will be yet, but she is actually playing an Eternal named Thena. Train to Busan's Don Lee is going to be playing Gilgamesh. The Eternal named Makari is one with the power of speed, and normally a male. He's now played by a female named Laura Ridloff. Kingo Sunan is Kumail Nanjiani's character. Sprite is traditionally a young boy, but for the MCU will be female, and the actress who is Sprite is Leah McHugh. Atlanta's Brian Henry is Phastos. So that's all there is officially at this point, and it leaves room to host a lot more. Millie Bobby Brown was rumored. She may potentially show up at a later point, but scheduling for her Sherlock Holmes movie may get in the way of that. We'll have to find out. She could be Cersei, perhaps. Overall, the Eternals are somewhat of a deep cut from Marvel lore. They're not a household name by any means, but this is the position that the MCU was in when they introduced us to Iron Man and then to Guardians of the Galaxy. I, for one, am excited and looking forward to this grand epic tale that'll be told on a cosmic scale. Assuming it all stays on schedule, filming should wrap up towards the end of 2019, and I predict a trailer in late winter, spring of 2020, perhaps even at the end of May 2020's Black Widow movie. How cool would that be? That's it, my friends, for this one. As always, leave your comments, questions, and ideas down below, and we'll continue the conversation there. If you like content like this, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can be part of all of our videos, new and old. I'm Jesse, this is JLS Comics, and I'll see you soon.